Hello, and welcome to episode 3 of season 3 of CIS Abroad's Instagram Live Site Director question and answer sessions. I'm Chris Batchelder, your host again, Student Advising Coordinator of CIS Abroad and Summer Site Director Assistant in Rome. Today I have the pleasure of talking to our Site Director of Adelaide, Jasmina Kubelik. So we're going to add her on pretty soon, and everybody who's watching will be able to have an opportunity to ask any questions at all about our Adelaide programs in Australia. We have summer options and semester options, and today we'll talk to Jasmina a little bit about that. She studied abroad in Kyoto, Japan, when she had her study abroad experience, and she also worked for our university relations team back at our Northampton offices, director in Adelaide for the CIS Abroad programs. So I'm going to add her right now. Hey there, Jasmina.
Hey guys.
How's it going today?
Good. It's 8:30 a.m. in the morning in Adelaide right now, and I'm currently on campus, so you guys can actually see a little bit of it in the background as well today.
Oh, very good. That's over at the university then?
Yep, on the North Terrace campus.
All right, very good.
Yeah.
We got viewers today, so I'm just gonna invite anybody who's watching to ask any questions at all to Jasmina or I about Adelaide or or anything about studying abroad, and we'd be happy to help you out. So how's it going today?
Going good. So just here for work. So I don't know if Chris already mentioned, but I actually work at the University of Adelaide in the study abroad office. So not only will I be your site director, helping you adjust to life in Adelaide, I know all the ins and outs about studying here at Adelaide. So I did my undergraduate degree here. I did a little bit of postgrad studies here as well. Through this university, I got to study abroad in Japan as well, which was really fantastic. If you're nervous or if you want to know more about the courses, what's actually available here at Adelaide, what's here on campus, or what you can actually do while living in Adelaide, basically, I can be your go-to gal.
All right, awesome. Well, it's awesome that to have you, Jasmine, and thanks for making yourself available so early in the morning today.
Yeah, sorry, it's a little bit windy here as well, so bear with my hair.
So we do have one question from one student talking about the different costs associated with studying abroad the semester program in the summer. Naturally, the semester program is going to be a bit more expensive in comparison to the summer. We can have the costs vary depending on how many classes you want to take. So far, our current program fees for 2020 semester runs between $1,690 to $18,790 before any forms of financial aid or scholarships can cover, and I do believe it is substantially lower for the summertime. Jasmine, while I go into that, do you want to go into a bit about the cost of living over in Adelaide?
So, comparison with other big cities like Melbourne or Sydney, the cost of living in Adelaide is actually 20% cheaper. So you do get a little bit more bang for your buck. So general cost of living when it comes to food, you're probably expecting to pay about $10 to $15 for a meal around lunchtime. And if you want to go out for dinner, you can expect to pay around $20 or more. Depends on how fancy you want to eat out. Clothing, you can get a lot of clothes within a decent budget. There are a lot of stores near the student accommodation here in the city that have sales or for a student budget. For example, we have a chain called Cotton On here in Australia. I'm trying to remember how to compare it to a chain here in the United States, but basically it's where all the uni students will buy their basics as well. We also have Target and Kmart here. Our Target is not the same as you guys. It's a little bit lower, but our Kmarts are amazing, and they're the best places to buy like your crockery, your towels, any basics you may need here in Australia. And they're probably about the same price, if not a little bit cheaper to what you'd get at the US. Main reason being the US dollar is stronger against the Australian dollar at the moment. So for whatever you see for dollar value, it actually is cheaper here in Australia at the moment. Plus you don't have to tip here as well. So with with our taxes, everything is included in the price that you see on the sticker or on the board or on the menu. Tipping is not compulsory here in Australia. There are some cafes that will have a tip jar near the counter, entirely optional. So yeah, if you're here on a budget, you can make it work, and it's actually quite easy and affordable, at least in my personal opinion. And you can always jump onto Google cost of living in Adelaide as a uni student, and you can find some really interesting breakdowns. And I believe the University of Adelaide may provide a breakdown cost for international students studying here. So if you Google University of Adelaide cost of living, you may be able to find something too.
That's a really good resource. Thanks, Jasmina, for sharing. And to bring up the program fees for the summer program, I want to say it's roughly a third the cost as opposed to going for the semester, roughly $66.90 for 3 credits and $88.90 if you wanted to do 6 credits. So 2 courses instead for that one. Again, that's with all forms of financial aid but one other thing that's pretty nice, right at Jasmine, about Adelaide is the public transportation.
So in the city area, we actually have free public transportation. So we've got a light rail or a tram that runs from the Adelaide Entertainment Centre to South Terrace, the southern side of the CBD area, and that's free. If you exit outside the CBD area, there is a fare charge, but otherwise it's free and it's super easy. It's probably the main source of transport you'll use to get to the University of Adelaide, depending on where your accommodation is. There's also a free city loop bus that literally does a loop of the city and North Adelaide, a suburb just north of the Adelaide CBD, and that's also free. But if you do want to explore the suburbs, you want to make your way to the beaches or the Adelaide Hills, public transportation here in Adelaide actually has a student discount or concession discounts. So being an adult that I am, I pay about just under $3 for a one-way fare, whereas for a student it'll be the equivalent to $1.50. So students can get up to 40 to 50% off with their student fares on public transportation. So that's another way that you can save and actually stick to your budget while studying in Adelaide.
All right, that's really helpful to know there. And I do see we did have one other question, is why do people choose Adelaide over other locations in Australia? So I guess like some of those like little special bits about Adelaide that make it a unique place.
So Adelaide isn't as big as Sydney or Melbourne, but we have all the same things that they do. So we've got easy access to beaches, we have easy access to nature and hiking, and everything's closer. While Sydney and Melbourne are amazing in their own ways, it can take a while to get from point A to point B, whereas most landmarks or points of interest that you want to visit here at Adelaide are literally 20 minutes from the North Terrace campus here in Adelaide. There are some locations where you may have to travel more than 20 minutes, but if you're interested in going to the beach, it's about 10 to 15 minutes, depending on what mode of transportation you use. If you want to go up to the Adelaide Hills and do some hiking, again, that's about a 20-minute ride. Again, does depend on what type of transportation you use. But yeah, we have exactly the same thing that all the other cities do, but we're cheaper and we're smaller. So if you think that living in Sydney or Melbourne might be a little bit overwhelming because it is such a bigger city, Adelaide is smaller. There's more of a community focus here on campus as well. Population is smaller. Again, we have everything that we need really close by. And Adelaide is located centrally in Australia. So if you did want to travel to our other major capital cities, they're only an hour or 2 away by plane. And all of the flights from Adelaide are direct, so none of these stopovers. So yeah, it's just really easy to get around. It's not as crowded as, say, the bigger cities, and I personally recommend it. I am biased. I have lived here for 27 years, but I definitely recommend it. The people here are lovely. You will personally love it. I know previous students I've worked with have had positive things to say. And yeah, if you guys do want to know more, feel free to pop a question below. Otherwise, if you want to know more later, feel free to get in touch with Chris and he can pass on your questions to me as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So just keep typing in those questions, folks, in that comment box below. I see we did get one about fun entertainment options with student discounts, or for those on a budget. Now you just mentioned that cool little hiking trip that's not too far away, which sounds pretty low. But what if it's but I guess like what if it's rainy out and you don't want to? I guess you don't want to travel to go to the movies or or something, but are there other places
Yep.
where you can use that student discount in
Yes,
Adelaide?
you can. So most movies or cinemas here in Adelaide do offer student discounts. They're about $3 or $4 cheaper than an adult ticket. Here in Adelaide, if you're really into your theatre, we have the Adelaide Festival Theatre that currently has they constantly have shows on. In the next month or so, we're actually going to have the Oz Asia Festival. So literally we get performers and theatre troupes from Asia coming down to Adelaide, and they perform for a month-long festival, and it's amazing. There's usually a festival on every time of the year here in Adelaide as well. We're actually known as the festival state here in South Australia. So whether it's an indoors event or an outdoors event, you're probably going to find something that's going to tickle your fancy. If Flash, literally next door to the University of Adelaide, a hop, skip and a jump away, is the South Australia Art Gallery. It is fantastic. They have an awesome display of Aboriginal Indigenous art and also other local Australian artists. It's free entry. You don't have to pay for anything to walk into this gallery. You are welcome to make a donation. Occasionally they do have a special exhibit where there may be an entry fee, but to walk in the general part of the gallery, it is free. Next door to that is the South Australia State Museum, and that's also free. The South Australia State Museum actually has the biggest collection of Indigenous artefacts in Australia as well. So if you are interested in Indigenous culture or Australian history, or you just want to have a look-see, it's a really fascinating collection that I definitely recommend that you check out. And there's other exhibits that will also tickle your fancy if you come down. If museums and galleries aren't your thing, there's also cool little funky activities like escape rooms. There's a couple of them on Brundle Mall, so our main shopping strip that's only a block away from the University of Adelaide. There's also an indoor mini golf place in the Adelaide CBD, so if you like playing mini golf, definitely recommend something like that. And they do discounts for everyone on Mondays, Tuesdays and Wednesdays, I believe. If you're a foodie like I am, if you're on the west side of town where there is this a student accommodation, you'll only be 5 minutes down the road from the Adelaide Central Markets. It's a massive indoor fruit and veg market. Best place to get your fresh groceries. They also do amazing sweets and they cater to a variety of diets as well. I have had students who were previously gluten intolerant, lactose intolerant, vegan, etc., and they all managed to find food that they loved in the Adelaide Central Markets. Chinatown is also right next door, so if you're eager on Asian food, best place to check it out as well. Basically, food is the best thing to try when you're in Adelaide. You can find almost every cuisine down here as well.
That's good. Lots of Italian restaurants too?
Yes, there is an amazing one called Osteria Oggi. Definitely recommend that you guys try it out. If not, I might take you there. So we'll see what happens.
Good. Maybe for a welcome dinner or a farewell dinner, for instance?
Mm-hmm. Really nice,
Good,
fancy, but fresh Italian food. We know Chrissy likes his Italian food, so.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. But how about the accommodations over in Adelaide?
Mm-hmm.
Would you be able to describe those a bit more that students can? Actually, no, Jasmina. Before I get onto that, we did get one more about community and like what's the community like? I know you're talking about how friendly folks were over there, and like people are really just like friendly over there. You want to talk about that a bit more?
Yeah, so in my travels, mostly I see that most people might not make eye contact or might not smile at you when you're walking past, whereas here in Adelaide, it actually happens really frequently. So students tend to smile at each other when they walk past. Adelaide has a lot of clubs happening as well, and you're more than welcome to join one of those if you are here for one of our semester, or if you want to extend it a little bit longer for a full year and do a double whammy. Students can also join sporting clubs while here at Adelaide, and these sporting clubs aren't just for University of Adelaide students. Staff who work here at the university and even University of Adelaide alumni students also can join these sporting clubs. So if you want to meet students or people outside of the university, you can do so through University of Adelaide community sports and clubs. So that's another great way. Professors here are fantastic. They offer drop-in times for students. So if you do have questions about an assignment or a topic that you're not really grasping or understanding, they're more than happy to help you out. We also have services and resources like a writing centre, career service. So if you want to update your resume and sell your Adelaide experience for when you graduate from your degree in the United States, you can take advantage of that here. If you are struggling with writing an essay, the Writing Centre is a really fantastic way. And it's usually students who have already studied that topic that will actually help you write these essays or help you or assist you with your writing. So that's another way to meet other students from other year levels as well. On Wednesdays, our student hub as well offers a local market. So artisans and foodies from around Adelaide who own their own businesses actually set up shop in the Adelaide Student Hub, and students can actually purchase the food or the goods that they are selling. So that's another really awesome way to engage with the local community. So you're not isolated by living at the University of Adelaide. You actually get to embrace everything, in my opinion at least.
Yeah. Now with that thought, Jasmina, I did want to put out there that when students, when they have that student visa, traveling over to Australia last night, they are able to get a job off campus and work up to 40 hours every 2 weeks. I'm pretty sure. So not sure if you've been able to.
I've never had to apply for an Australian student visa, so I don't know all the ins and outs, but my understanding is that yes, you can get a job. And the University of Adelaide Student Union actually has a careers page that will actually advertise jobs that are perfect for Adelaide Uni students. So that's one place where you can find part-time work. There are cafes and little restaurants that work here on campus, and sometimes they recruit students to work during the day outside of class hours, and that's another really good way to just earn a little bit of cash on the side while studying here as well.
Yeah, kind of just lowering that cost a little bit of living.
Yeah.
It's already much less expensive than Sydney, so if you want to save even more, then you can start working too.
You want to save that money to travel even more during your program.
Yeah. Hey, question. How much is a flight from Adelaide, say, to Sydney or the Gold Coast?
So it really depends what time of year and what time of the week you want to travel. If you want to travel midweek, for example, leave on a Wednesday and return the Wednesday week after, you can get You can get a one-way flight to Sydney, sometimes for $50 when you get the really good deals. If you do it when the sales aren't on, because I am currently looking at return flights from Sydney, but I'm looking during the Christmas period. So during the Christmas period, at the moment, I'm getting a quote for $250 return Adelaide to Sydney. So that's probably the most expensive I would consider for a return flight from Sydney to Adelaide. But honestly, if you can get a flight anywhere in Australia for under $100 Australian, you're doing really good. And that happens quite frequently because we do have two budget airlines here in Australia. We've got Tiger Air, which is owned by Virgin Australia, and we also have Jetstar, which is owned by Qantas, so the Red Kangaroo, and they do deals throughout the week. I believe Jetstar does domestic sale deals on Fridays. Tiger, I think it's Tuesdays when Virgin does their sales, but if you want to know for sure, let me know. Let me do some research for you guys and I'll get back to you.
And Jasmina, I did a quick Google search, and I saw that 100 Australian dollars equals out to be roughly $70 US. And you said that, and sometimes when these flights are on sale, they can go as low as 50 AUD.
Yes, that's right. I've even seen flights to Melbourne one way for 30 AUD or 35 AUD. Sorry.
So to give our listeners some perspective, right now 50 Australian dollars is a whopping 34 US dollars, and 38 is $26. So you basically
get your bang for your buck.
you skip dinner. So what you're telling me is you skip dinner one night at the Osteria, and then you can go to Sydney potentially.
Yeah, potentially. So if you time it right and you look out for the deals, yeah, you can.
That sounds like a pretty darn good deal to me. Now, let's see here. I know a very common question that we get in the advising center is is about accommodations. I know I was about to ask you a little bit earlier. Would you like to go into a bit more detail about that?
Yeah, so there's two different types of accommodations here at the University of Adelaide. The closest one is Urban Nest. It's literally a hop, skip and a jump across the road from the North Terrace campus. It's brand new. It's only about a year and a half old, I believe. To be honest, I haven't checked it out myself, but the Australia Program Coordinator, Emma Van Loon, she visited Adelaide in February this year, so if you guys do get in touch, she actually has seen the accommodation. She can let you know what it's got. My understanding is the Urban Nest accommodations does have private rooms. They also include little study desks. There are kitchen areas. Whether they're shared or you have your own, I'm not entirely sure. I believe there is also a recreational area right at the top of these apartments because it is a multi-story building as well. How many floors? I do not know, but I would say maybe 15. It's a quite tall building.
Okay.
And it's private security. It's monitored 24/7. So the security cameras everywhere. To enter the building, you have to have a key card to enter. And there is someone always is present at that front desk. So if you are concerned about strangers barging into your room, very unlikely to happen. It's basically like a fancy hotel, but for student accommodation. So you guys might already be familiar with that, not process, but that system. But essentially, yeah, you guys will be safe while staying in your student accommodation. The other option is the University of Adelaide Student Village. So this is only a 5-minute walk from the Adelaide Central Markets, about a 15 to 20-minute walk to campus. So a little bit further away, but also really good if you want to be closer to food. So my personal option. So these have townhouses or apartments. There's usually 4 private rooms to an apartment. Everyone has their own ensuite, and students will have access to a lounge area with TV, etc., as well as a little kitchen space as well. So you will have all those facilities there. My understanding is at both accommodations, they do have coin laundries, so you can wash your own clothes while you're there. But yeah, that's about all I know at the moment. Definitely get in touch with Emma though if you want to find out more, if you want to see some pictures. Otherwise, if you do visit the University of Adelaide accommodation page, you can actually find more details about what facilities are available and what it looks like from there.
Yes, and we do have a bit of info on our website's program page as well, in case anybody was curious about that too. I do see we have some new listeners right now, Jasmina, so I'm just going to do a quick plug to invite folks to type in their questions down below in the little comment box. You can Hey there, back again. Sorry, just had a bit of internet trouble for a brief moment.
Nope, all good. Hey guys, back again.
Okay.
So did you ask a question? I think I might have missed it.
I don't see any new questions at the moment. Let me check this little box. Oh, I see we do have one here from a Kane 1970, which is how much does it cost to participate? And I think we kind of went over that a little bit earlier. You know, the cost definitely varies, like between summer and going abroad during the semester. I'm going to go ahead and refer folks to check out our website at cisabroad.com. Easiest way is just Googling CIS Abroad Semester in Adelaide or CIS Abroad Summer in Adelaide and go to the bottom of the page. You can see all our prices and dates right there. So to go on a bit more, I know we just got like about five more minutes today. I'm wondering what a good question to ask for you. Oh, we got one more. Is what are the classes like? That's a very good question there.
So the classes will vary depending on which faculty you study through. So at the University of Adelaide, we have 5 faculties. So we got the Faculty of Engineering, Computer and Mathematical Sciences, the Faculty of Sciences, Faculty of Health Sciences, the Faculty of Professions, which is your business and law courses, and then the Faculty of Arts. So when I studied at Adelaide, I was with the Faculty of Arts doing a Bachelor of Arts majoring in English and a Bachelor of Media. In my classes, so each course was broken up into lectures and tutorials. Lectures, usually about 100 to 150 students would be in attendance per lecture. These lectures are recorded, so if for some reason you can't make it because you're sick or you want to re-review the content and prep for assignments or exams, you can easily access those later. Lectures mostly go from 1 to 2 hours. Again, it does depend on the class. And then those lectures are usually followed up by a tutorial later in the week. And tutorials are usually groups of 20 to 30 students within a room. Sometimes they can be smaller depending on how big the course is. And during tutorials, you'll usually discuss the topics covered in the lecture, and usually you'll be given sometimes quizzes, or you might be given assignments or mini projects to work within this tutorial. Sometimes it's independent work, sometimes it's group work, or you may be doing presentations. So it does depend on the assessments that you guys are presented with throughout the semester. So tutorials can vary. Again, they range from about an hour to 2 hours. They are not recorded, but they do encourage student participation. Typically, courses will require 10% participation, and it is recommended that you do attend all your classes. My understanding is most courses don't have an attendance record, like if you miss 3 classes, you automatically fail. I don't think that's a thing, but it will depend on the lecturer and it will depend on the type of course it is. For example, if it's a course where there's a lot of practical involved, for example, you're doing chemical engineering or you're doing biology or chemistry, where you are required to be in labs and you are required to perform a task and confirm that you can actually perform it successfully, then attendance is required. But sometimes if it's just the group chats, it might be a little bit different. But when you do study here at Adelaide, you can get in touch with your professors and they will verify the expectations for this course. So I personally recommend attending your classes, all your classes if possible. It's the best way to retain information, and plus it's a really awesome way for you to interact with Adelaide students and other students studying here as well. So if you want to make friends, classes are your best way to do it as well.
All right, thanks Jasmina for answering that, and thank you Teresa for asking that question. So we are just at about our mark right now. Just gonna go ahead and say that the Semester in Adelaide program is still accepting applications right now, and you can go on our website at cisabroad.com in the top right hand corner. You can click apply now to get started on that application page. We did just lower our deposit from $200 down to $90, and that's going to go directly towards your total cost of the program. And if you fully apply and don't get accepted, you get that deposit refunded right back. And the deadline is not until October 15th, so still plenty of time to jump on board. Any other thoughts that you'd like to share? Any other nuggets of knowledge, Jasmina, that you'd like to transmit to the world today?
Well, if you guys missed out earlier, Adelaide is famous for its food. I didn't mention this earlier, but we are also famous for our wines. If you guys are lucky, I will take you on a little wine tasting at the National Wine Centre of Australia. Yeah, I know, cheese board included. So if you guys want to have a little tipple, I can definitely help you with that. You will have a learning experience at the same time. Other things I've taken students on have included AFL matches, so Aussie rules football, super intense games. Definitely recommend seeing it at least once while you're in Australia. But yeah, if you guys actually want to experience Adelaide, get onto cisabroad.com, get the application in by the 15th of October, and hopefully I will see you guys at the start of next year.
All right, there you have it, folks. Jump right on cisabroad.com and begin your unforgettable experience to travel to Australia, and in particular to Adelaide, so you can meet the wonderful Jasmina, your site director. So thanks, Jasmina, for taking the time today to chat with us a bit about Adelaide.
All good. Thanks for having me, Chris.
Talk to you soon.
See you guys.
Bye.